Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Oh my gosh, are you matching my energy? Shabbat shalom. Thank you. My goodness gracious. Hope that you all had a beautiful week. We experienced, and I must start out this particular teaching by apologizing to the collective mass of Hebrews. I misquoted the day of Rosh Chodesh. It was actually supposed to happen on the 11th, and the observation happens on the 12th. You see it in the evening, and the very next day you observed it. I said last time it was on the 10th, and that was a day too early. So I do apologize. So we did experience our Rosh Chodesh at least this week, and everybody knows what our Rosh Chodesh is. It's a Shabbat, right? Our next Rosh Chodesh is on the 10th of June. So make sure that you mark it in your calendar. If you're working, no laborious work. We got to get better at observing these Shabbats, okay? It's kind of like the new moon is like the last frontier because it's so very difficult because it really falls like in the middle of the week. It doesn't fall on a Shabbat, if you will. I don't want to be remiss and directing you, for those of you that are watching by way of the stream and those of you that are here, to continue to follow us on our Facebook page, our YouTube page, our Podbean page, which has our podcasts with some good information there. Gail is on our last one, so make sure you listen to that. And I also want to put in a plug for myself. That dear brother over there has written so many beautiful songs for this congregation, and they've been memorialized in the book. Go to Amazon and get the book. I got to start pumping up FTF. We just can't be this tree that falls in the middle of the forest and nobody hears it. Where do we go to get all this information? Where do we do it at? We got to start leading people to where the information is, because they're going to hear you and they're going to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to go research it for myself. And if you're not at least telling them where to go, if not to Torah, we're doing ourselves a disservice. So I want to start out by saying that. Parashah, I don't even want to say that. I'm looking dead at you, Mr. Harless. These are the parashahs. They're the portions of Scripture. They've kind of been outlined kind of in an Ashkenazi way. That's the kind of the 4 chapters we go after. But just know this is what we're going to be talking about today. I don't want to follow an Ashkenazi liturgy, but this is what we're going to be talking about today. Actually, this takes off from chapter 35, actually, all the way to 40. But I don't want you drinking from the fire hose. You're going to be drinking from the fire hose a lot today. So to give you 6, 7 chapters worth of information would just bore you to tears. If you're not bored to tears already. All right. By way of getting right into the parashah and not wasting, or a portion of Scripture and not wasting any time, let's go over what we're going to be talking about today. Your rabbi talked about this a little bit last week when he went over his mitzvot. This is very simple. Today we're just going to be talking about, again, the tabernacle and how Moshe erected it. It's something that you can read on your own. It reads like a script. Once you strip all the spiritualization off of it, it's really quite simple. You kind of get this idea now that, wow, it is simple enough that a child can't err in it because you're looking at it from face value, okay? We are going to do a couple things, hopefully right here, to explain to you what's going on. Bitziel and Oliaf are 2 main individuals in this portion of text. They are commissioned to be overseers for the construction of all the articles that are in the tabernacle, all right? I'm going to try to do this today and conduct this like a class more than anything else, not kind of dissertation in liturgy. So you're going to need to have your swords out with you. You know what I mean when I say your swords? If you got your sword on your mobile device, if you got Bible Gateway, if you got Bible Hub, if you got the actual Complete Jewish Bible, whatever source text that you have, if you don't have it, we'll put it up on the screen, but we're going to be jumping around today, all right? The next thing we're going to learn in chapter 38 is Moshe describes the metals that are used in the construction of the tabernacle. Now, does everybody remember the last time I got up and spoke, we did that little exercise on your dream room, your dream master bedroom? Now, I want you to think back to that. Think about how much would you invest in that room? How much money would you pay or be willing to pay for your master bedroom? Throw out a number. That's a kind of a rhetorical question and a serious question. What would you pay? $10,000. I got $10,000 going once. Anything higher? $30,000 you'd pay for that one room. We are on the edge of the ocean, overlooking this beautiful landscape. You've got this big, huge room. You told me to put a fireplace, a walk-in closet that is about as big as the Oval Office. And you're telling me that it's only $30,000 for that room. I don't know if any of you know that I am in construction. It's what I do for a living, okay? I'm not saying that you're lowballing it. But I want you to think, for your room, your sequestered area, I heard 30,000 is the highest. Anything higher than that? 100,000. Okay, we'll stick with 100,000. Remember that number. When I get to the portion in chapter 38, I want everybody to look over at my wife and say 100,000. Everybody practice it right now. 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm talking about. You're not getting a room for $100,000. I just want you to know right now, our next house won't have $100,000 worth of bedroom in it. I can tell you that now. Chapter 39. Moshe describes the construction of the following: the ritual vest, the shoulder pieces of the vest, the decorated belt, the onyx stones, the breastplate, the robe, the tunics, the turban, the splendid headgear, the linen shorts, and the sash. I want everybody I'm going to put you in a frame of mind. Most of the ladies in here, I'm looking around the room, have been to that altar. You had your husband in wait, standing at the altar, waiting for you to come down the aisle. What do you want your dream, or what if, I'm pretty sure your dream husband looked a certain kind of way. What did he look like? Come on. There's too many women in here to say, I want you to describe that dream man standing at the altar. Most of your dream man should be right beside you, but for those of you that got your husbands here, employed. Your dream husband is employed. All right. Okay, so let me take it a step further. He ain't broke. He's Woo! Brothers, you see, all you have to have now is a job. God, we done got so bad with the first question out your mouth is, are you gainfully employed? I'm not talking about employed for this week. I'm talking about gainfully employed. Shoes. Does his shoes, are they busted? Are they immaculate? Okay, if he gainfully employed and he got some, well, you can be gainfully employed and show up with some Jesus walk sandals on, but that's a Kanye West thing. His shoes are nice. He's standing there, y'all. He's got his pants oppressed. Does he have on some accessories? Does he have a nice white shirt, vest, tie, suit jacket? Is he bald? Is his hair a mess? Is it matted? Is it nappy? Is it what? He's looking immaculate, right? You expect when you go to that particular time that you're going to meet your husband, he is dressed to the nines. Right? Thank you. That's what I'm looking for. And if he dressed to the nines and he got some money in his pocket, at least. Remember that when we get to chapter number 39, okay? Chapter 40. Moshe places the furniture in the tabernacle. The tabernacle and the Kohen are anointed forever. Moshe erects the tabernacle, and the children of Israel live and move with Yahweh. That ends chapter number 40, which is the end of the book of Shemot. It's kind of customary to say, Hazak, Hazak, Vayanitz, Hazak. Be strong, be strengthened before you go into the next book. All right, let's jump into our word study real quick. I didn't put it up there because I've got to write it today. And that cost about $200 for me to do that right there. I need to stop running into stuff. All right, let's see what we got. Let's do this here. Who is, I'm giving it away already when I tell you this is a person. Oh, well, let's go back. Let's take that out. Take that out. I don't want to confuse you. All right. And it goes something like that. Goes like that. I got to make sure I put that on there so you don't mistake it for something else. Now let's put I wrote all the consonants, some of the consonants. Let's put all the vowels in here. We all know what from Hebrew that we read from left to right, from Yamin to Shmol, or right to left, from Yamin to Shmol, and then we C plus V equals S. Who is that? I just told you who the two main characters were in this chapter. Ah, very good. So let's go through it. First character is an aleph, and it makes what sound? Silent. Very good. So we're just going to designate that by just drawing a line. We have to go consonant plus vowel. Consonant plus vowel. What's underneath the aleph? There's a little line there. That makes the ah sound. All right. So we got our consonant plus our vowel. Next one is a hey. Thank you. You're not allowed to answer anymore. And I mean that in a good way. What's underneath the hey? A schwa. What sounds does schwa make? This is a rule. This is a rule. If the schwa, those two little dots over top of each other, are being preceded by another vowel, then it is silent. If it isn't being preceded by a vowel, then it speaks. Okay? So we're going to designate that schwa by just cutting it off just like that. We're going to put that in there just like that. Okay? Going on to the next one. What is that? La, la, la. Med. It's a lamed. Very good. And it makes the L sound. Oh, my goodness. Let's do this here because that was done incorrectly. Yep, should have did that. That is a dot. My goodness. What's the vowel underneath it? And these two go together. There's a dot here and that yod. They go together to make an E sound. All right? We come over here to this aleph. It's silent. It doesn't make a sound. That's our consonant. The vowel is underneath it, which is that little T. It makes an ah sound. And then we end it off with a vet, which makes a V sound. Aliav. That's how you say his name in Hebrew. All right? Aliav. Okay? All right? That is the assistant to Bitziel. Bitziel had an assistant with him. I want you to think of Bitziel and Oliav in this particular manner. We'll get there, and I'm going to repeat this when we get there. In construction, because I can talk about this all day long because this is what I do for a living. In construction, you would be the owner. And you would go and you would hire an architect. The architect, you would tell the architect, I want a room. And in this room, I want a fireplace. I want to have a big window. I want to have a walk-in closet. You're just telling him what it needs to be. He has to design it. Okay? And then what that architect's going to do, or you can get a general contractor that will do the same thing, that person would go out and they would hire the subcontractors to build it. So in my profession, I'm the GC, what we call a general contractor. I work with an architect who has drawn up all the plans on what I need to build. I then go and hire the subcontractors, the electricians, the plumbers, the drywall guys, the painters, all those people to come in and build what was on the plans. Oliav and Bezalel are the general contractor and the architect. Moshe is telling them what they need to build, but the idea and vision of what the cherubim look like, the decorations, is architecturally designed by Oliav, who is an engraver and a master weaver in linen, and Bezalel. So they've been given this wisdom from the Most High to articulate to the subcontractors, which are the children of Israel, on how to make this. Okay? I want you to think of them like that. All right? So, you're working on a flag, or you're working on some linen, and I'm standing over your shoulder as Bezalel and Oliav, and I'm saying, nope, wings need to be bigger. They need to flare out a little bit more. You need to put some more gold over here. That's not what I had in vision. You need to do pop, 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 pop. You're executing my vision. Okay? All right. Let's jump right into chapter 38. Let's have a little fun here. I had a problem when I was looking at this, and I shared this with Rabbi when we were podcasting on Wednesday, is that I was doing my study, and in a roundabout way, without going through Robin's Red Barn and telling you the whole entire story, I wound up mistaking where I was in my study. I told you already from jump that we're starting out at 38 and 21. I ended up, for some reason, there's a reason, the Most High took me there. I started at chapter 38, verse 1, and I started looking at it. But let me take a step back. I did my whole entire Parashah, starting with verse 21. I wound up on a website that made me think about chapter 38, and I started reading from the first verse in chapter 38. I'm saying to myself, why in the world did I miss all this information? Part of the reason is because I wasn't supposed to start at verse 1. I was supposed to continue to go on with 21. But I found something very interesting in there. And I want to bring this to light. In the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, is this totally a male thing? Or are women involved? How? How? Don't speak in generalities. You'll turn people off. Give me specifics. The Most High is specific. Why is the Most High specific? You ever wonder about that? I have a speculation as to why the Most High is very specific. It has to do with a practical reason. Okay. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to look at you. I'm going to tell you. I want you to design me a sweatshirt. And that sweatshirt just needs to have a design of a Hebrew character on it. Do you have envisioned in your mind what you're going to make? Why is that? Because it comes from experiential knowledge of what you've seen before. So if I tell you I need you to go build me something, what are you going to pattern it after? I spent X amount of years in Egypt after all of their gods looking at what they were doing. When I build something, I'm going to build it based on the pattern that I've seen before. So I got to be specific when I tell you I want you to build it this way. Because I know you jokers will probably end up making it like it's something that came out of Egypt. Think about how specific I have to be. Or you're just going to make it based on what you've seen before. So the Most High is very specific. So I want you to be specific. When I ask you, what capacity did women work in at the tent of meeting? Don't be general. What did they do? I'm tricking. I'm giving you a trick question. What did they do? Okay, let's answer it. You got to go all the way back. You got your swords. Let's go ahead and go all the way back to Shemot 33. In Shemot, actually, let's not do that first. Let's go to chapter 38. And we are going to go to verse 8. Shemot 38 and 8 reads as thus. He made the basin of bronze with its base from bronze from the mirrors of the women serving at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Now, you got to be very clear on what's happening. We're in chapter 38. Moshe doesn't erect the tabernacle until chapter 40. How in the world can he make? It's not made yet. The basin's not made yet. We're putting the cart before the horse. Okay? How can he put the basin together if it hasn't been made yet? We gotta go and hunt this down a little bit. So at least from a standpoint, I want to kind of edify you women. You were serving at the tent of meeting. What were you doing? It's not really clear. And I will be the first to tell you this, that you probably will not find this in Scripture. This is a postulation. This is in my hubris. This is something that I've come up with to try to feel my way through this to kind of get an understanding of what's going on. So we already know that the mirrors of the women serving at the entrance of the tent of meeting were used to make the bronze basin for the tabernacle. Okay? Now, let's go all the way back to 33. Right? Shemot 33, verses 7 and 8. As a matter of fact, let's just do this. It's going to say this in 7 and 8. Well, I want to start at the top. Let's go all the way back to verse 1 of 33 of Shemot, which is Exodus. And I'm going to get it over here. If you can put that up on the screen, I would duly appreciate it, which you probably have it up there already, way ahead of me. And let's just go. Let's just start at the top. It says, Yahweh said to whom? Moshe. You are to what? Leave. You and the people brought up from the land of Egypt, or Mitzrayim, brought up from the land of Egypt and move on from here towards the land which I swore to Abraham. So we're going to where? Land, right? Yitzchak and Yaakov, I will give it to your descendants. I will send an angel ahead of you. I will drive out the Kenani, the Emorite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Hivi, and the Yevusi. And you will go to a land flowing with milk and honey. But I myself will not go with you because you are such a stiff-necked people that I might destroy you on the way. I can't be in your presence for 5 seconds before half of y'all will be dead. The Most High, this is going to get into something else. 4, when the people heard this bad news, they went into mourning, and no one wore his ornaments. These ornaments are going to come back and bite him in the rear end. This is something that they got out of Egypt. This is a Mitzrayim thing. This is part of an idolatry thing that they still had on them. Said the Most High, Yahweh, said to Moshe, tell the people of Israel, you are a stiff-necked people, and if I were to go up with you for even one moment, I would exterminate you. Now, keep your ornaments off. Then I will decide what to do with you. So from Mount Horeb onward, the people of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments. The point I'm getting at here is that there are 2 tents of meeting. There's 2 of them. This is the first one. Okay? Moshe would take the tent and pitch it outside the camp, far away from the camp, for good reason, because if he was anywhere close to the children of Israel, they probably would have been exterminated. I'm just going to get away from them. He called it the what? The tent of meeting. Everyone who wanted to consult with the Most High would go out to the tent of meeting outside the camp. It doesn't say anyone who wanted to go consult with the Most High had to come through a man. Does it not say that? Wait a minute, you missed it. Everyone who wanted to consult with Yahweh would go out to the tent of meeting outside the camp. Whenever Moshe went out to the tent, all of the people would get up and stand, each man at his tent door, and look at Moshe until he had gone into the tent. Whenever Moshe entered the tent, a column of the cloud would descend and station itself at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And Yahweh would speak to Moshe. When the people saw the column stationed at the entrance of the tent, they would get up and prostrate themselves, each man in front of his tent. Yahweh would speak to Moshe face to face. I'm going to stop right there before I get into that. So you see what's we're envisioning here? What purpose were these women serving? I said this to my wife earlier today. Envision this. Outside of the tent of meeting, I've got an issue, and I'm going to bring it to the tent of meeting. You just said that, right? When you go into a doctor's office, you go straight to the doctor? Who are you greeted by first? The receptionist. I've got all these individuals with all these problems coming to consult with the Most High. We need some organization. The women were responsible for organizing the people's issues before Moshe went in there to talk to the Most High. Women had a very intricate role in the tent of meeting. That means we met you first. And you decided whether, you got to deal with this somewhere else. Okay, this is where you need to be. Think of it in an organizational standpoint, okay? All right? So don't let anybody tell you that women have no place in the service of the Most High, because they do. All right? But I want to go on further. And I needed your buddy, and I don't know where he went. Can you go grab Jean Amir? I want to go back up into verse 10 and read back down. You and Makai, I need you two to come sit right here. All right. Before we do that, I'm going to do something real quick. You guys would do anything I asked you to do. I asked you guys to sit right here. You guys can't be sat on the stage. Bruh. Do you have a best friend? Do you have a best friend? Do you have a good friend? Do you have any friends? Good. You got a best friend? You got a best friend. You have a best friend, Gideon? Do you have a friend? Good. You got a best friend? You got a best friend? Do you know anybody that's a friend? Greg, you got problems, my dude. You got a best friend? Or had one? Absolutely. All right. You got a best friend? Best friend. I'm looking at all the people in here and I'm asking the question, do you got a best friend? Okay, good. How do you talk to your best friend? You talk to your friends face to face, but okay, I'm talking to you. And I'm talking to you, and I can attest to this. My wife will tell you this. Maybe and maybe not. So everybody just look at her. Just look at her reaction when she gets ready, when I get ready to say this. Just have the camera panned over there already. The person that you see here in front of you, me, Sean, the person behind that drum set, Sean, is different from the person behind closed doors at the house. I've got quirks, nuances, things about me that you all don't know about, but she does. Your friends, when we get together, I like making milk come out of her nose when I make her laugh really, really hard. It doesn't really have, you guys will take me seriously. It's pejorative, it's figurative. But we laugh, right? We laugh, we joke, we have a relationship. Some things are funny, some things are not. Sometimes we get upset at each other, right? Good. That's what you do with your friends, right? You two, you're friends, right? You got a secret handshake, right? Let's see it. Just do the handshake. Do the handshake. Do the handshake. Just do it. They are messing with you. I want you to do the handshake. I'm proving my point. Come on. Do this handshake. Just go ahead and do it. Just do it. Let's drop the word secret. Just do your handshake. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Shh. 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 Go. No. Okay. Come on over here. You guys. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let them see the shake. Come on. Awesome. They got a shake down. Now it's not a secret anymore. Chapter 33, verse 10. Let's start there. When the people saw the column of the cloud stationed at the entrance of the tent of meeting, they would get up and prostrate themselves, each man at his tent door. Yahweh would speak to Moshe face to face, as a man speaks to his friend. I want to change your perspective on what you see about Yahweh, because you know Yahweh from where your standpoint is. I am Yahweh. If you violate my word, XXX will happen to you. Do as I had asked and commanded you to do. You have one view of the Most High. Moshe has another. Moshe knows Yahweh's personality. Think of the funniest comedian that you know times 1,000, and that's the humor of the Most High. But you would never know that, because Moshe has a different relationship than we have. Most High rubbed off so much on Moshe that what happened? In chapter 34, we learn about the fact that Moshe had rays of light coming off of his face because he was in the presence of the Most High. And what happens is that the children of Israel see the rays of light coming off of his face, and they get scared. So Moshe has to wear a veil. The majority of the time that the children of Israel are in the desert, they never saw Moshe's face. He would take the veil off when he went to go speak with his friend. Y'all still don't get it. I'm there now. I'm looking for people to jump up and pick a bale of cotton and run around and do a whole bunch of cartwheels and backflips. My guy, Most High, when you made my Ethiopian wife, dude, you knew exactly what I wanted. You hear these folks out here talking? Man, yeah, I know. Just literally just stick with it. I'm going to get you there. I'm going to get you there. Yeah, because today I'm going to kill him. I really am. They are really met. He talks like a friend. And then at the end of the conversation, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go out and I want you to talk to the children of Israel and tell them this is what I said. That's the Yahweh that you see, not the one behind the scenes. You were made in the image of the Most High. What, you don't have a personality? Wow. You would think that if Moshe was in the presence of the Most High and he had rays of light coming off his face, then how come Yeshua didn't have any rays of light coming off of him. When he showed his disciples the transfiguration and showed them himself, they should have come back with rays of light on themselves. I don't understand why y'all hold him in such a high regard. If you want to go pound for pound like Muhammad Ali against Butterbean, it's not going to happen. I'm telling you that right now. Let's take just one simple example. You set the bar so flippin' low with this Christianity. I'm telling you right now, you get so hyped up about the fact that, oh, Jesus walked around and he took a fish and some bread and he fed X amount of people. And you get hyped up about that. When Moshe and the Most High fed the children of Israel for 40 years in the desert, every day, except for on the Shabbat, where the day prior they had to do a double portion. So how in the world are you getting hyped up on something that happened for 5 minutes when I'm talking about something that happened for 40 years? Y'all are getting hyped up over the wrong stuff. Oh, boy. At any rate, this is a friend, and I'm going to tell you what's up. You see that all the time in Scripture. Most High said something to Moshe, and then Moshe executed to the letter. To the letter. All right. Let's get back into this. Chapter 38. Let's get back over here. And I want to let y'all know, y'all Christians over there fooling around in Corinthians chapter 3, because over there in Corinthians chapter 3, it does talk about the veil. That is totally misquoted. Totally misquoted. I almost want to direct Paul to go to Proverbs 26. We're going to see what a definition of a fool is. What's in Proverbs 26? That's why they don't want to talk to us. Proverbs 26. What does it say? Like snow in the summer or rain in harvest time, so honor for a fool is out of place. Honor for a fool is like snow in the summer. He's making all these analogies. Like a fluttering sparrow or a flying swallow, an underserved curse will come home to roost. A whip for a horse, a bridle for a donkey, and a rod for the back of fools. Don't answer a fool in the terms of his folly, or you will be descending down to his level. So that he will think that he is wise. Telling a message to a fool and sending him out is like cutting off one's feet and drinking violence. Okay, I'm going to cut both your arms off, and then I'm going to let you get in the ring with Mike Tyson. That's foolish. That's what you do. These are all definitions of what a fool is. You're mistreating the words of the Most High, and you're twisting them to come up with some new justifications of a political new age religion. You fall under the auspices of Proverbs 26. Okay? But let's move on. I said I was going to move on. I ain't got out of 38 yet. 38. Chapter 38 starts out with designating the accounts covering the tabernacle that were recorded by the Leviim. Everybody know who the Leviim are? You got the Kohanim that are there. You've got the Kohen Gadol, who's the high priest. He has his sons, which are the Kohanim, and then you have the Leviim who assist the Kohanim. All right? So, all the accounts that were done and ordered by Moshe were recorded by the Kohanim and the Leviim. we were all told that the Levium were under the direction of Ithamar. The helpers were under the direction of Ithamar, who was a Kohanim, who was a son of Aharon. Now, it says that the tribe of Yehuda, there was a man named Hur. Anybody can remember who Hur is? That's one. What significant things did Hur do? There's three. There's three that we know of that we can talk about. One of them is that he had a son. His son's name was Uri, and Uri birthed a son named Bezalel. All right? Do we remember the battle of the Rephidim and the Amalekites, where Moshe has to have his hands raised? On one side was his brother Aharon, and the other side was Hur. Okay? The other thing that's interesting about Hur is the fact that when Moshe goes up to speak with the Most High on the mountain, right before the golden calf, the Most High, or at least Moshe says, listen, don't worry, I'm leaving Aharon and Hur in charge of all you. Okay? So, we have all of that about Hur. And again, I went ahead and explained the issue of being a general contractor, and that's what he's designating. This is what these guys were designated to do, was to build everything that was in the tabernacle and the tent of meeting. Now, I said earlier, I'm going to go back. We're going to do a little math. Who doesn't like math? Okay, you're honest. We don't like math. We're going to do easy math today, all right? Because I want to drive this issue home. Earlier I said when you guys got that master room built, because the rest of chapter 38 talks about the materials that were used to build the tabernacle, okay? The materials. Now, I said earlier, the dream room cost what? 1, 2, 3. $100,000. Okay, so let's do that. You said your room was $100,000. We're going to write that as $100K. All right? Let's go through this. Listen. Shemot 38, verses 24 through 26, denotes the amount of gold used in the construction of the tabernacle, which was 1,930 pounds. If you don't like math word problems, you're going to hate this next part. Matter of fact, let's keep going. Silver used was equated to be 6,650 pounds of silver. How much does a ton weigh? 2,000 pounds. So how many tons of silver did we have? I said we had 6,650. The math here is you've got 3.325 tons of silver alone. Scripture gives us a point of reference in the amount of silver was equivalent to half a shekel of every man over the age of 20. And there were 550 men counted in the census. So half a shekel for every 550 men equated to how much this weighed. Now we got a little bit of evidence, and oh man, I have it up on the screen. Just remember 38 verses 24 through 36. I just went over that. So the silver was 6,650 pounds. Oliab used 100 talents to construct the structural base sockets for the curtains. 1 talent weighs 66 pounds. I'm going to get to the math here in a minute. 1 talent for every socket. Of 1,775 shekels, which equaled 50 pounds, Oliab made hooks for the post and overlaid their capitals and to fasten them. When it comes to in terms of bronze, there was a total of 4,680 pounds of bronze for the tent of meeting that he used to make the following: the sockets for the tent of meeting, the bronze altar, the bronze gate, the utensils for the altar, the sockets for the courtyard around it, the sockets for the gate yard at the courtyard, and all of the tent pegs that the tabernacle and all of the tent pegs for the courtyard around it. Now, we're looking at this and we have no frame of reference as to what we're talking about. So like we do in construction, if you want to hurt a contractor, you hurt them in their pocket. You want them to do something, just saying you ain't going to pay them. So let's talk about numbers real quick. Let's talk about the silver. Let's put this in today's terms. Let's just say if the Most High was right now with the children of Israel in the desert, US dollars, how much would the silver cost to construct this? This is just the materials. This is not to put it together. That's to say I'm going to get a ton of silver, bronze, and gold, drop shipped to the job site, and then we're going to go ahead and start working with it. Let's go ahead and go through that. The cost of 1 ounce, and this is silver. Okay, so let's do silver, S for silver. 1 ounce of silver today in US dollars is $25. Right? I said we had 6,650 pounds. See, this is why I have 2 devices. That's why I have 2 devices. All right. All right. Sorry for the delay. 6,650 pounds of silver. We got to make the conversion here. I've done it for you already. All right? How many ounces is 6,650? It is 106,400 ounces. Thank you. 106,000 ounces of silver times $25 an ounce. The silver alone in today's money would cost you $2,660,000. That's just the silver. You put your room at $100,000. That's the silver. 2 million, 2.6. Remember that number. Remember 2.2. 2.26. Very good. 2.6. Big number. Let's do the gold. Let's do the gold. Let's change this over here and say 1 ounce of gold. Let's do this. 1 ounce of gold. How much do you think 1 ounce of gold is in United States dollars today is? You close. $1,795 for 1 ounce of gold. Yahweh said in the construction of his tabernacle, we are going to use 1,930 pounds, LBS, pounds of gold. We got to make the conversion. How many ounces is in 1,930 pounds? There are 30,880 ounces of gold that were used. That's the material. Let's take 30,880 times 1,795. The gold cost for the tabernacle in today's money would be $55,429. $429,600. What are we at right now? Just the gold and the silver alone, you're at almost $57 million. This is your Most High we're talking about. We should start establishing something here, okay? This broke attitude that we have as Hebrews. Let's do the last one. Let's do the bronze. And then I'm going to start moving quick here. Let's do the bronze. Last building material, bronze. Now, 1 ounce of bronze is how much? Any guesses? It is $1.60 in US dollars today. All right? There was 4,680 pounds of bronze used. Now, I retort. That is not correct. I already did the conversion for you. 1 pound of bronze is $1.60, not an ounce. And you had 4,680 pounds. So let's do the math on that. That would have been $7,488 US for just the bronze. And we're not talking about manufacturing it yet. We're just talking about drop shipping it. If you added up all the bronze, all the silver, all the gold, you would be at 58 million. $97,088. You said your room was $100K. The Most High's room is $58 million in today's money. And that's just material. Your Jesus was a homeless man that walked around all over, from place to place, that did not have a home. The Most High said, when you build my house, at least it's going to cost $59 million. So why in the world are we edifying all this stuff? I really wish y'all would come back to the text and read it and understand the wealth that is inside the children of Israel. You don't see that because you've got a welfare poor mentality, because every time you come to church on Sunday, it's about you and not about a group of people on one accord coming together to meet with the Most High. $58 million. Okay? Y'all getting hyped up again over the wrong stuff. Just trying to tell you. Yes, sir. That money. This is not a broke group of people. Not only are you talented, not only are you a bunch of artisans and musicians and people that influence the world, you are wealthy. You are not broke. When we get back to the land, expect the opulence to be there. That's chapter 38. Oh my goodness. It's good to be, see, when you start unlocking these things about your Most High, your Yahweh, I'm telling you, he don't roll in a 74 Gremlin. We are in a Maybach. We are in a, what you call it, an automobile. I roll in style. Nuh-uh. I'm going to leave it there. I've heard too many. The folk done turned me off the YouTube already. I need to go ahead and get through this. All right. I'm going to do this the best I can. Yeah. Chapter 2. We haven't built it yet. This Thank you for bringing that up, because this is giving you some perspective. This is saying that Oliab and Betziel had all these materials, and throughout the children of Israel, they assembled all of this, and now we're getting ready to move into the approval from Moshe. You went in there and talked to your best buddy, Moshe, did we make it right? Did we make it right? That's what the rest of this is about. Now, I had did a dissertation before. For the life of me, I can't find what I did with it. But in chapter number 39, we find out again, and it's reiterated, that Oliab and Betziel made everything that was in the tent of meeting, or was the overseers of it. And what was made was the ritual vest, the shoulder pieces, the decorative belt. And I had this right here. This is when I say when your dream man shows up at that altar, the Most High don't you want you walking around with some Jesus Walk sandals on. Even when you come into my house, you're going to be dressed a certain way. I'm very specific. You can be in this vague world if you want to. That's why I find it a little egregious that Paul sits there and says, we can just do away with all the things of the Old Testament when he gets into Corinthians chapter 3. But anyway, this is what you're going to look like when you come in and see me. Okay? You're going to have the gold bells down at the bottom of the road. You're going to have the pomegranates. Your clothes are going to be interwoven with gold. You got your tunic, your turban, the ornament for the turban. All of the stones that have been engraved by an engraver, Oliab. You got your onyx stones. You've got your thumium and your tumium on there. So I know how to answer. If I'm going to speak through you, hey, I want you to look a certain way. That's what chapter really 39 kind of goes over. And I could belabor it, but like I said, you can read it for yourself. It's not to spiritualize. Okay? Let's get down to the bottom of here. The one thing that I grabbed out of chapter number 39, I apologize, was that this. Everything that was done was brought to Moshe for him to approve, and it made me again think about the artistry of our people. When you look at Hebrews that are in exile today, the nation of Israel, the Hebrew nation, I don't know if we have that kind of artistry going on. We got other artistry that we're known for. We can do a soft shoe real good. We can twerk real good. We can do a lot of stuff real good. What happened to this issue of craftsmanship? What happened to this issue of artistry in our community as Hebrews? To learn a trade and to know how to execute it with opulence. Because that's what the Most High is going to be looking for. He just didn't say go out and get Joe Schmo contractor to do it. He said get skilled artisans to do it. You should be able to throw a rock and hit artistry. Now, if all I'm worth to you is entertaining you and doing a soft shoe on TV to entertain you and then turn around, throw a ball through a hoop or kick a ball through a field goal, if that's all I'm worth and we're programmed to be taught that, we need to evaluate what we're getting on Sunday morning every single week. Okay? That's chapter number 39. Chapter number 40. And this will actually wrap things up. In there, it did talk about, I put this slide in here because it did say that the robe was made like mail, and that's what mail looks like. If you're ever reading there and you want to know what chain mail looks like or mail, that's what a coat of mail looks like. And I think I ended up leaving chapter 39 by just quoting this. They brought the tabernacle to Moshe. That means that once they got done constructing everything, they brought all the pieces. Like you go to IKEA and every thing comes in a box and you got to put it together yourself. That's exactly what they did. They said, here's your IKEA box, Moshe. Go ahead, put it together. Here's your Allen wrench and your screwdriver. Moshe, okay, so they sent everything to Moshe, the furnishings, the clasps, the planks, the crossbars, the posts, the sockets, the coverings for the tams, ram skin, the covering for a fine leather. You all know where that goes. We did that teaching a couple of weeks ago. And the curtain for the screen, the ark of the testimony, its poles, the ark cover, and the table and all of its utensils, the showbread, the pure menorah, its lamps, and their arrangements for display, its accessories, and the oil for the light, the gold altar, the anointing oil, the fragrant incense, the screen for the tent, for the entrance to the tent, the bronze altar with the bronze grates, poles, and all of its utensils. The basin. Where did the basin come from? It came from the women's mirrors that were outside the tent of meeting. The basin for the base, the tapestry for the courtyard with their posts and sockets, the screens in the entrance to the courtyard, the ropes and the tent pegs, the utensils for the service of the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, the garments for the officiating, for the service in the holy place, the garments for the Aharon and the Kohen, the garments for the sons to serve in the office of Kohen, the people of Israel. Now this is where one of the one times in Scripture where Moshe is proud. Because we hear about this stiff-necked group, hard-headed individuals that just don't want to get anything right. This is the one time that Moshe stands proud to represent this group. It said the people of Israel did the work just that Yahweh had ordered Moshe. Moshe saw the work, and there it was. They had done it exactly as Yahweh had ordered. They had done it, and Moshe blessed them. That's the end of chapter number 39. Getting into chapter 40. What am I saying here? Chapter 40 talks about really how Moshe is now commanded to take all these things and he's assembling everything. It just talks about he took the altar, he put it in its proper place, he put the tabernacle together. I was thinking when I was going through this, I was like, this man is, I don't know how old, at least 80 years old, and he's putting this thing together by himself. But when you think about it, if you're looking at a plank that's 2 foot 6.5 by X amount of feet long, he probably could have did it, you know? So it's not unreasonable to think that he could have did this by himself, just out of his own strength. Matter of fact, what did they say about Moshe when he died? Didn't have anything wrong with him. He was strong to the day that he departed. Okay? So it's not uncommon to think that he could have done all of this. Again, Moshe is putting everything together, and then he's commanded to anoint the Kohanim, and the Kohanim was the high priest, and the Kohen that help him, his sons, Aharon and his sons, basically. I only put this up here to say that the sons are brought, the tunics are put on them, and they anoint them as you would anoint their father. He's talking about the Kohanim. So they can serve me in the office of Kohen. Their anointing will signify the office of Kohen is theirs throughout the generations. That's where we see that mandate come in and the establishment of that. What did I say? Is that the end of it? Oh, shoot. Can't give you that yet. Closing out. I'm through. I'm just going to quote what's here. It says, the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Most High filled the tabernacle. Moshe was unable to enter the tent of meeting because the cloud remained on it, and the glory of the Most High filled the tabernacle. This is after this is all erected. It says, whenever the cloud was taken up over the tabernacle, the people of Israel continued with their travels. But if the cloud was not taken up, they did not travel onward until the day when it was taken up. For the cloud of the cloud of the Most High was above the tabernacle during the day. The fire was the cloud by night, so that all the house of Israel could see it throughout their travels. Hopefully, I brought out a couple of different things to make you think differently about the Most High. Most High has personality. Most High is very specific. He's specific for a reason. When the Most High does something, he does it to the nth degree. Which is another good thing to talk about, because the Most High is the only Elohim that hasn't died. Buddha's died. Muhammad has died. Jesus has died. Most High hasn't. And never will. It's totally diametrically opposed to what we've been taught before in the past. And we just need to understand that out of anything that I talked about today, you should have some pride in the fact that you're Hebraic. That is so bereft from our culture that we look to be downtrodden. We look for the worst because that's all we expect. That's all we get taught. We don't get taught it's about a nation of people moving towards back to the Most High so we can regain our opulence. We talk about it on the podcast all the time. We could end this overnight if we would just teshuvah. But as long as you want to get over there and make things be easy, the devil made me do it. Yeah, just blame it on him. The devil don't show up nowhere in text. You know who did it? You did it. You did it. Don't blame the devil for your issues. The devil wasn't in the Garden of Eden. The serpent was in the garden. Stop spiritualizing and making things out to be something that they're not. Once you're able to remove that from your mind, that all of that minutia of junk, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. See, now I need to stop because now I'm turning into this dude over here where you start bringing up songs, you start singing them at the end. But I want to encourage you that your pride in your Hebraic culture has never left. And hopefully the message today will encourage you to continue to move in that direction, to seek the Most High. I want to bless you. Yivarekaka Yahweh ve'yishmareka. Yahweh panav eleka v'chuneka. Yesa Yahweh panav eleka v'yasham laka shalom. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. We know what blessings are. I always got to explain it because I get excited about blessings. It's continuous. That means when you breathe out and breathe in, that's a blessing. When you take one step, that's a blessing. When your heart pumps, that's a blessing. When someone gives you something, that's just a gift. We're asking for blessings. I'm blessing you that the Most High would continue to look upon you and keep you. That's a blessing. To say that I literally could take my hand away from you and not have anything to do with you anymore. But I'm going to keep it on there because I'm going to keep blessing you with that. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May Yahweh shine his face upon you and show you his favor. May Yahweh lift up his face towards you and give you shalom. To that, I say to all my friends, all of the Hebrews in exile, all of the Hebrews in the diaspora as a part of the children of Israel, the nation of Israel, shalom.